Severe weather will plague us for the next 3 days or so. Then we get a break here as this trough finally swings to the north and to the east. But moving into next week, we once again have the potential for trough digging in the west again, more severe weather if this plays out. In today's forecast, we're going to talk about all these things along with timing of the storms in the next couple of days. Before we get into the forecast, I want to quickly go over the current conditions here and hazards. A lot of fire weather products here in the eastern U.S. with some density fog advisories further south along the Gulf Coast. Numerous flood warnings, all in the upper Midwest here in parts of the Ohio Valley, Mississippi Valley. Also, a special weather statement up here for critical fire danger. Okay, and some flood warnings as well. Some high wind warnings, winter storm warnings now up in parts of Wyoming, Montana, and Oregon and Washington State. Also, some freeze warnings as well as that trough moves to the east, with some higher winds also out west as well, which could increase the fire danger also in the coming days. Looks like down here in New Mexico, we have maybe a wind gap event with high winds here as well. So let's start off by reviewing the severe weather potential for today with a large marginal risk going all the way up into New York, back towards Wisconsin, Michigan, not Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, down to Arkansas, Tennessee. All right. The slight risk is up here in the New York area where we have some maximized values here. Now, for us, tornadoes, right? Not a high tornado risk as in the past couple of days. It was a lot higher, but we still have a marginal risk down here, Arkansas, Tennessee, Missouri, with a 2 and 5% risk. The 5% risk centered up here and close to Lake Erie here. So the potential does exist for tornadoes, but not looking to be strong. Although you never can rule that out. Now moving to the wind risk, that's where your slight risk originates up here. But again, 50 knot winds to be the maximum winds, at least right now. Not expecting anything hurricane force with this system. Now, for the hail risk, the only portion of the hail risk that we got a SIG 1, it's way down to the left here. The potential for 2-inch hail exists on the southern edge of this mode. The marginal risk with a slight risk up here of severe hail 1-inch in diameter. Now going into tomorrow, we have more of a intense severe threat overall, right? Already a enhanced risk here, and I wouldn't be surprised if this increases to moderate risk as we get closer to this event. Anyway, you can see where the different outlines area: moderate 30%, slight 15, 5 marginal risk here. Now, as far as tornadoes go, and this may be it changed too. I wouldn't be surprised we get a SIG 2, which could be EF3 or higher potential tornadoes, especially on the northern mode of this. But we'll see how it plays out. Slight risk in this yellow area here in Wisconsin, with that hatch risk area already. SIG 1, the potential exists at least right now for tomorrow for 2 EF2 tornadoes, right? Reasonably expected, with the coverage the highest in the yellow area. The marginal risk going all the way down into Texas, up into Minnesota, and Indiana, Arkansas. Okay. Now, the wind risk is the highest right now as far as spatial coverage, with a 45% risk now centered on Kansas City, right? With a hatched area here indicating up to 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts in this whole area here. Like I said, the greatest spatial coverage is in the magenta area here. 45% chance of 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts within 25 miles of a point. Hail risk. We have 2 focused areas for hail as well. The southern node down towards Wichita, Kansas City, Oklahoma, and the northern portion of this, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa. A large hashed risk denotes up to 2-inch in diameter hail is possible in any of these cells in this area, even in the slight risk area. Now we go into Saturday. This is just an overall severe risk centered on Ohio Valley, the slight risk surrounded by a marginal risk in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Indiana. And we'll talk about this more in the coming days. But this is the overall threat for the next 3 days. So for today, I'm going to start this off showing the HRRR model, which is a short-range convective aligning model, right? Eastern U.S., we have the severe threat overlaid on it. I just want to show you that before I get started here. And out west, we haven't really talked about this a lot, but we have snow in the Intermountain West here in parts of northern northern high plains, I guess you would say, with a surface low here up there as well. Trough is digging into the west coast here, right? So that's why we got the snow out west. All right. So taking the severe weather overlay off here, we go to the severe weather portion of this, right? So this is the composite radar of dry Helicity swaths, the initialization of the convection here in the central U.S. or Ohio Valley, let's say. That moves to the east here. The problem is up here in the upper Midwest, we've had a lot of rainfall. Any additional rainfall in the coming days will just lead to flooding pretty quickly here, okay? Thursday, this is noontime. Storms move to the east here, and they start firing down here in the evening hours. Memphis area, Little Rock, Arkansas, some rotating supercells here on the southern end of this. As a reminder, let's go back and look at the SPC outlook. It's within that area of marginal threat here, okay? The northern mode here. Now, as a reminder also, I want to go over the tornado risk. See what the tornado risk is down here. That's where them storms are firing here as well, and up here. So we can see why the tornado risk is maximized in these areas. So storms move to the east, northeast up here. There's some rotating storms, kind of a more of a line segments kind of event up here with maybe some initial supercells developing here in Tennessee, right? It looks like they congeal eventually into a line here. Not all that impressive, maybe an MCS type feature developing, moving to the east, up along this line here, maybe some severe convection getting going overnight, and up into Vermont, New Hampshire, New York City, New York State here as well. Maybe some convection firing way down here into Texas in the overnight hours. Maybe dry line type convection here. Conditional, I would say at this point, right? So today, not as intense a severe weather day, but maybe we'll get some rainfall in northern Georgia and northern Alabama as that MCS type feature fizzles out there. Another MCS mid-level feature moving through the northeast into the morning hours tomorrow. Now, if we start off tomorrow, right, 6 a.m., I pulled up the storm relative Helicity values here. We can make out where that trough is digging, right? Generally in this area, you see where the highest shear values are, right? So we overlay the with a severe threat is just to the east to where these values are, okay? So this is where these systems going to move into the afternoon and evening hours. Shifts to the east here with the highest values, pretty extreme in the Colorado Springs area, Des Moines, Iowa, up into Michigan, Chicago, right? So if we switch back to the radar, let's look at that. Back it up a little bit. 1 p.m. we got storms starting to fire here, right? In Wisconsin, but not a lot going on, right? 1, 2, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Boom! Look at all them storms firing here. Pretty intense convective line segments here. Looks like mostly some embedded rotational storms here, but anything that's like discrete or semi-discrete can be tornadic very easily here within the line. Pretty extreme rotational values. You see the I guess the pinks here, all the way up into Michigan, Milwaukee area, Wisconsin, right? Moving to the east, 6 p.m. The line kind of shears out here, right? But it's kind of extended all the way down to Oklahoma City, Tulsa. But you see what looks like to me like some rotation all in this line here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see any tornadoes in the overnight hours either, right? And so in the back end of this line, way down to the south, you could get convection firing in the overnight hours into Texas here. So we also have the heavy rainfall threat where these storms are training as this system finally moves to the east into Saturday. So, and tomorrow and Saturday morning, I'll talk more about the threat for the weekend. As of right now, though, that's it for the next couple of days, which is plenty, right? So, we'll see y'all again tomorrow. Appreciate y'all watching. Let me know where you live and what you're experiencing. Appreciate you watching again, like I said, and God bless.